Welcome back to Java and Joy. We've got a little bit different of an episode today. So, today I'm going to tell a personal story, and it is why and how running has changed my life. And I'm sharing this because so many of you have asked for this story. I can't even tell you how many DMs, email inbox notifications of people just asking me about running. Because if you follow me on Instagram in my stories and things like that, I am almost always talking to everyone after my runs, talking about goals that I'm setting for my speeds or distances, and it's a huge part of my life. Um, and a lot of people just want to know, like, what that story is. Why do I like running? How did I start running? And in order to answer those questions, I feel like I need you to understand like how running actually changed my life. And I think that will give a lot more significance into just like, here's how I started to run. Right. So I want to say, like, whether you're a runner, a walker, a cyclist, or simply someone that's just like trying to take better care of yourself, I hope this episode just encourages you to find a movement of some kind that brings you joy. Because I honestly believe that it's the movement, it's the community, and the things that came with running that changed my life and that made me love it, not necessarily like the running itself. So that's what we're going to be doing. So grab your coffee, we're going to chat. As usual, though, before we go diving into any episode, we like to settle in, do a little warm up here. First of all, release all your tension, relax. This is time just for you, nobody else. Everything that's going on in your life, put a pin in it. It'll still be there later. It ain't going anywhere, as I like to say, but this is your you time. So sit back, relax. If you're driving, please focus on the road, but try to muster up some smiles where you can. And let's talk about joy moments of the week. Got several of them from you guys again this week. I love seeing you guys sharing all of your personal gardens, by the way, things that you're growing and trying and successfully doing, by the way. And even the things that aren't working out so great with gardening, which we all are having those moments with certain things. I love seeing those joy moments. Those are amazing. And then, of course, all those moments that you're, sipping your coffee or doing a gratitude journal, having lunch with a friend, whatever it might be. I love seeing those. So keep sharing all those joy moments with me. You can send those via email, or you can just post them on your social media for other people to see those joy moments, spread that joy around, and just tag me at Carla Joy Wellness so I can share those with my community too. Love paying that forward. But for me, I would say my joy moment of this week specifically was taking a walk on the path behind my house with my dad. And this is a path that I walk, run, frequent all the time by myself, my husband, my dogs. But I don't think, at least not since my dad used to live with us, have I taken a walk with just me and my dad. Anywhere, let alone on that path. And it was just one of those like father-daughter moments where you don't really realize it while you're doing it, but like right after it ends, you're like, wow, that was just nice. It was just nice to have that one-on-one time with him, just chatting, being outside. Being outside in general right now is amazing. We're having a nice little break in the heat here in Indiana, and I am trying to enjoy every moment of being outside that I can while we're not under extreme heat advisories and things like that. But it was just one of those things that I took pause in after and just realized how special that is. And I really just enjoyed it. I really, truly enjoyed having that one-on-one time with my dad. So, yeah, he's 75 years old. And another reason I'm bringing him up too is because he's part of the reason, well, actually, he's probably the start of the reason of why I started running in the first place, which I'll get into. But that is who truly inspired me. He's still running to this day. He just completed his 38th or 39th mini marathon in a row. 75 years old. 75. It's incredible. It's incredible. So, needless to say, I've had a very good role model in life, and more than just that, but it was just nice, like I said, to share that time with him. And I thought that that fit in very, very well with what we're talking about today, because I definitely get the running gene from my dad. So that was my joy moment of the week. So keep sharing your guys. Okay. Keep sharing. I'm going to have a little sip of some caffeine before we dive fully in to this episode. I did make a bullet point list here. I really just want to speak to you just from my story. So I don't really have like notes like I normally would, but I made like a little bit of a bullet list because there are certain points I wanted to make sure that I talked about that are extremely important. And I know that especially when I'm telling a personal story, I could get off on, 12 different tangents and never get those points in that I want to make sure that I hit home with you guys. So I'm going to do my best to not go too far off the path in any way, shape, or form. I really want this to just be about, how running has changed my life. So let's get started, shall we? Yay. Okay. So first off, I do want to say that like running never started for me as like earning medals, setting personal records. You're going to hear me maybe say PR. If you hear me say that, you don't know what a PR is, or a PB. It's a personal record, a personal best. It's just trying to beat whatever your best time has been previously in a specific distance. Okay. But I never had like pace goals, things like that when I started running whatsoever. In fact, when I started running, I was 65 pounds overweight. I had quit smoking about 6 or 7 months prior to that. And I had to put on extra weight when I quit smoking. I'd been almost a pack a day smoker for, I think, 10 years. And this is when I was 25 years old. I had just lost my grandmother the year before to lung cancer, which is what prompted me to quit smoking. By the way, I actually quit on Mother's Day that year in honor of my mom, my grandma. And it was something I wanted to do after watching, losing my grandma that way. So, but it did make me gain a little bit extra weight, right, from the quitting smoking, because I started eating instead of smoking. So I was already, a little overweight to begin with, but this kind of, tipped the scale, so to speak. So that was what prompted me to quit the smoking. And then, like I said, I put on some weight. And that fall, my dad was getting ready to start preparing for his next mini marathon, which was going to be his 25th year in a row, his 25th anniversary, so to speak. And he said, "Hey, do you want to do it with me?" And I'm like, "No." I'm going to run 13 miles. Are you crazy? Like, I don't even run 1 mile. He's like, "Oh, you could do it. It'd be amazing to do that with you for my 25th year." And so I agreed. I said, "Fine, I'll do it with you. I'm running very slow though, very slow. I'll do this with you, but I am never running again. You can never bug me again about running," because I probably should preface this by saying my dad had been trying to get me to run my entire life, and I refused. So I finally decided to give him this moment, and I said, "All right, fine, I will do this." Thus, the training began for the mini marathon. And if you've ever started running from scratch, you'll know that you don't just go run a mile. You start with like jog for 60 seconds or 30 seconds and then walk for a couple minutes, and then jog for another 30, 60 seconds or whatever, and walk for a couple more minutes. So it took me at least several weeks before I could even run like just 1 mile, just one solid mile. And let me tell you this, the first full mile I ran without stopping, I remember I was watching Vampire Diaries on my treadmill. Yes, I loved that show. If you know, you know. And I remember hitting that mile, stopping the treadmill, and laying down on the floor next to the treadmill, calling my dad, saying, "I don't know if I'm going to survive. I think I might be dying. I think the mile killed me." I mean, every part of me hurt. It was hard to breathe. I literally thought that I should probably be like telling my parents goodbye. Like I thought it was killing me. Like it was so miserable. It was so miserable. And of course my dad's on the other end like, "You're fine. It just hurts. You're okay. You're talking to me. You're fine." So talk me off a ledge there for sure. But I kept with it. Because I made that promise. And I will tell you that something I've learned about myself and coaching other women, it is so much easier to keep promises to other people than to ourselves. Like if I would have just promised myself that I was going to run that mini marathon, I don't know if I would have stuck with it. I really don't. Not without hiring a coach or accountability coach or someone that I have committed that to, right? So that's what my dad, that promise to my dad kind of became like that accountability for me, that commitment that I made, that investment into that promise. And I think that's what kept me going, to be perfectly honest. And that has applied to me more than once in life. So that's what got me going. That's how we started the training and what kept me kind of moving through that, so to speak. So just know that I was not born a runner. I didn't even start necessarily to get healthier. I just did it kind of for my dad. And of course, I just started losing weight because I was moving my body. And I quickly found that, hey, this is a great way to like burn calories and get in shape and new ways to challenge myself. And, 1 mile became 2 miles and then 3 and so on. And, I remember we had to do some of these like pre-training things to get ready for the mini, and they were in the depth of winter. The first one was in January, and it was like 11 degrees outside, and it was my first 5K, which is 3.1 miles. And I had to do it out there in that freezing cold. I mean, I had on ski mask. I mean, I was so many layers. I could barely bend my arms and legs. How I ran and all that, I'll never know. I will never know. But just like picture that kid from, what was it, like the Christmas Story, where it's just in the giant coat and he can't bend the arms. That was me. That was me. And I don't know how I did it, but I did. So needless to say, I made it through that training series. I made it to that race day with my dad, and I ran every step of that half marathon side by side with him without stopping. It took me, I think, an average of 12:45 a mile, 13 minutes, somewhere in that range. And of course, it ended up being like one of the hottest on record mini marathons, by the way. It was so hot. It was so hot, which made me extra nervous. But I remember my dad like having the energy of running next to me and like taking his phone out and taking a picture of me every mile marker. And I'm over there just trying to breathe, just, suffering. I mean, I was in the pain cave, so to speak, but I did it. And let me tell you, when I crossed that finish line, I lost it. I cried harder than I think I had ever cried up until then. I lost my freaking marbles. Just the overwhelming joy, seeing my dad's face, how proud he was, but also knowing I just did that. Like I freaking did that. It just immediately taught me what I can do, what my body's capable of doing when I put my mind to something. And I got to tell you, that changed my life forever. That right there. Because after I did that, other things didn't seem as hard. I was like, well, if I can do this, then I can do that or this or that and so on. And it really was like this floodgate that opened. And there was no way I was not going to run after that. And I didn't like jump right back into doing another half marathons or anything, but I kept up with my running and I kept up with being on a much healthier tangent in life, just making better decisions for my body and moving more and, things like that. And I ended up losing that 65 pounds. I got down to a healthy weight. I was very, very happy with that. So I learned that there was so much reward in movement, and not just physically, but I just felt better. I thought I could think clearer. I had more energy. My skin looked better. Like I just had this glow. It's like I had purged all the toxins out of my body, just mentally and physically, so to speak. So it became addictive. And did I not know this at the time, but running actually releases happy hormones like endorphins and things, which are like addictive technically. Like you get addicted to that feel good rush. And thankfully it's a good addiction. It's a good thing. But it is, it became something that I craved and that I looked forward to, and having that runner's high. So if you've ever heard that runner's high, it is real. It is not a myth whatsoever. You really do get this wonderful feeling after runs. So yeah, that's how it kind of started. But and I would say that from that moment, it definitely changed my life there significantly, um, for sure. And I think that at that point, it was like, oh, okay, well, what else can I do now? So that's where I started signing up for more races and doing like 5Ks and seeing, let's see how fast I can do this, or signing up for different local races that were just for charities. And I still do those to this day. I love doing little fun runs around the community that are for a good cause. You go run a 5K, you get a cute medal, maybe a cute shirt, and you give back to the community in some way. And that, to me, that's like a win-win, right? I'm getting exercise, I'm getting some cute swag, I'm giving back to the community, I'm getting outside, and that's awesome. Like, that's a very fulfilling thing to do as often as I possibly can. I even do some virtual races. I go online that are for different charities that you can literally, if you've never heard of a goneforarun.com, go check it out. They have virtual races any distance you want. By the way, there's walking ones. You do not have to run. But you can do them for all different charities. If you want to support animal stuff or cancer societies, I mean, it's endless. Military, everything you want to support is pretty much there. And it's just such for a good cause. And you get cute little stuff for doing it. And it helps motivate, to be honest, when you sign up for these kind of things. So first and foremost, I challenge you to sign up for something, even if it's as a walker. Because again, I don't want you to necessarily become a runner after listening to this episode. I mean, I would love that. I would love to encourage everyone to become a runner. But I do encourage you to become a walker at the very least, or a cyclist, or something that you can have movement in, that you can set goals with, and that you can go be a part of others doing the same thing. Because all of that has its benefits, okay? So go check those out, honestly. And they keep you motivated, and it's so much fun being in competition with yourself, seeing what you can do next. And it teaches you to set goals, to stick to goals. It's very rewarding, and it helps you in every other part of your life when you start building that confidence in yourself. That's how I think, honestly, how I became so goal oriented and how I ended up being a life coach. I think is because I got so in love with setting goals and how good it felt, and to have a purpose, a meaning, a motivation every day, something that I was training for, looking forward to, bettering myself doing, helping others while I do it. It's incredibly rewarding. And I think it really helps teach you a lot about yourself and your life in general. So I challenge you to do that, regardless if it's running, walking, or cycling. FYI on that. It really does teach you discipline and confidence and all those kind of things. So I will tell you that running didn't get easy overnight. We're talking at least a year before I actually enjoyed a run. I want to be completely transparent there. And if you want, you can always ask my husband, who just became a runner in the last year or so. He hated it. And of course, he was in the military and was forced to run for a long time. And he swore it off after he left the military, which I don't really blame him for that. But he recently finally got back into it. And it did take him like 6 months to a year before he was like, gosh, I love this now. But once it clicks, it clicks. And once you're a runner, you are a runner. You want to know how someone is a runner, ask them. Or I'm sorry, if you want to know if someone's a runner, don't worry, they'll tell you. You won't have to ask them. It's like a running thing in the running community, a running joke, so to speak. But it's so true. You'll know when someone's a runner. They'll tell you that they're a runner because we love it. We're proud of it. It's like something we want to shout from the rooftop. We want it for everybody, right? So, but it takes a minute. But once it clicks, I promise you. But even if you start running, like walking, cycling, those things aren't probably going to feel good right when you first start them. So just know that right off the bat. You're going to have to learn to be comfortable with being a little uncomfortable for a while. But if you can get past the hurt, the not so fun, there's a huge reward on the other side. So FYI, okay? So that's kind of the start. Now, the reason why I love running has changed so many times over the years. So I always say it's good to have a why, like why you do something, right? And for me, like I said, I started because I made a commitment to my dad, and then I stuck with it because it was making me feel good, and then I stuck with it because I was setting goals. But running has changed for me through seasons of life. I've been running for 17 years now. And it is something that has been a support system for me through things in my life. So one of the big things was when I lost my mother to cancer. That was the moment I decided to sign up for and run my first full marathon. And this was in 2021. So not that long ago, by the way, 5 years ago. So that's how long I was a runner, never did a full marathon. Tons of half marathons, tons of 5Ks, 10Ks, but never a full marathon. And I did it because I heard that I could raise money for lung cancer awareness by creating a team and a page and a GoFundMe kind of thing, so to speak, but for that charity. And I could run in her honor and raise money for awareness. So that's what got me involved with that. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a marathon then. I'm going to do it in honor of my mom. And I started the training the week after she passed. And the marathon was 16 weeks later. So it literally was my like grief therapy outlet for those 16 weeks. I got to think about her, reflect on her, be present with her. It was like she was right there with me, so to speak. I have angel wing tattoos on both of my ankles because those are my mom's wings carrying me every single mile while I run. It's one of my favorite tattoos I've ever gotten. But it became spiritual for me at that point. It was like grief counseling, and it was just the way that I coped, and I'm super grateful for it. And I actually printed this big picture of her and pinned it to my back, and I ran that whole marathon with the picture of her pinned to my back. And you wouldn't believe the amount of people who came by me during that marathon. By the way, I did a lot of stopping and walking, like the last 6 miles of that thing. I was toast. It hurt so bad. I ended up taking 5 hours and 40 minutes, I think, to finish that thing. I finished it, and that was my goal. I ran most of it, just couldn't finish it all with running, but I finished it with some walking there. But people would come up past me and just be like, oh my gosh, your mom's so proud of you. I know she's with you. This is amazing. Go, your mom's beautiful. Like, they were acknowledging her on my back. And it was surreal, to be honest. And I came through that finish line, and my sister was there, and my husband and my dad. And I just cried and celebrated. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And again, I think it was one of those things, when I went through that training, I don't know if I would have stuck with it. Because once I got up to like 18, 19 mile runs, I'm like, this is insanity. I've been running for 4 hours. But I had made that commitment to run it in my mother's honor. So, right, let's circle back, right? Remember, I ran the first mini because my dad wanted me to do that. I did it to honor him. Now here I am, fast forward to this full marathon, and I'm doing it to honor my mother. Obviously in a different way, but it was them that motivated me to finish those things. I did it for them. I mean, ultimately I did it for me, but I think it's what helped keep me motivated, to be honest. I couldn't quit, right? And I really felt her every moment of those walking steps in that marathon, just like, you got this, girl. You got this. You've come this far. We are not stopping now. You're going to drag yourself to that finish line. So that's what got me to run my first and only, by the way, full marathon I've ever done. I've still never even attempted to do another one, but obviously I've continued to run. But running for 5 hours, just, it seems like I'm doing more pain and bad for my body than I probably am good. After you've been running for 2 or more hours, probably just breaking things down at that point. But, will I ever do one again? Maybe. I will never say never, because you just never know. But my husband just signed up for his first marathon, and he's doing the same marathon that I did. And yesterday was the anniversary of losing my mom. And his training plan starts next week. So he is literally following the same training plan I followed at the same time to do the same race 5 years later. That is awesome. That is so awesome. Like, I'm nervous for him. I'm scared for him. Obviously, I as a wife, and if you're married, you worry about your spouse no matter what. And if you're a woman, you just worry in general, right? That's what we do. But I'm here for him. I'm supporting, I'm encouraging. I will be his biggest cheerleader. I will be there at that finish line. But it's kind of like passing the torch a little bit, so to speak. So very excited for him. But it's just so weird that, it's just the timing, right? And the race that he chose to do is the same one. So that was one of the seasons for me that deepened my love for running. And that is closely followed by last year when I had my first health scare. And if you follow me, you probably know the story. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail on this, but just know that I tripped and I fell last year while running. First time ever having it, and I won't even call it a running injury. I tripped and I fell while running. I could have done it while doing anything, but I tripped and I fell and I sprained my ankle. I thought nothing of it. It's a sprained ankle. I figured I'll take 6 weeks off running. Life will return to normal. That was not the case for me. I developed a blood clot in my leg, which is life-threatening, and it caused me to have to go on blood thinners, which had all kinds of side effects for me that were not fun. And needless to say, last summer was the absolute worst summer of my life. And that's just me putting it bluntly. I had panic attacks, and I've never, ever had anxiety in my life, by the way, or anything like that. So this was like a whole new world for me. So I went through 90 days of the medication, wasn't able to run, wasn't able to do, my normal life that I've been doing for however long, right? And that was hard. That was really hard. Now, thank God and thank my husband for being by my side last year, by the way, amongst other people too. And you know who you are, who were there to support me. And I thank you and I love you. I got healed, got to start running again. And it did take me a minute to not be afraid to run. And then it took me a while to be able to be not afraid to run fast or run near a sidewalk. I still keep a very close eye on any cracks, dents, uneven pavement. Try not to run on trails where there's sticks and stones and things that could trip me. That's still something that I am dealing with trauma-wise from the whole thing. Like I said, had it just been a sprained ankle, I got back up on that horse and been like, whatever, if I sprain it again, so what? But the fact that I ended up with a blood clot, which is a very rare thing to happen with a sprained ankle, by the way, it still scares me. It scares me that it could happen again. I will say that I was on hormone replacement therapy when this occurred. They have told me that probably made me a lot more likely to develop the clot. I have since stopped taking hormone replacement therapy, and I am hoping that if, knocking on wood, I were to fall or get an injury again in the future, that would not happen again because I've removed that from the equation. So just want you to realize where all this anxiety and trauma is coming from. It was a lot because I also had to come off of 16 plus years of hormone therapy while I was injured and everything else. And if you're a woman who has ever come on or off hormone therapy, you already know what that is like. And not only did I have to go through that, but I didn't realize that I was in perimenopause until I came off the pills and had night sweats and all kinds of things. So when I tell you last summer was rough, understatement. Just know that, okay? But silver lining here. I've got a way new appreciation for life out of the entire thing. I realized how short life is, how precious it is, how it can be gone in a moment. I got closer to God. It brought me closer to my husband. It changed so many things for me for the better. And it also gave me a way new appreciation for running, because let me tell you, sometimes you don't know how much you love something until you can't do it. Not being able to run crushed me. It crushed me. I didn't have exercise. I didn't have an outlet. It was just awful. It was awful. And I realized then how significant running was to me, and that I had to get back to it, no matter how afraid that I was, no matter what it took. We were getting back on that horse, right? So it was something I looked forward to. And I'm like, you're going to get back to running. You're going to do this. You're going to be fine. So when I tell you that running has changed through the seasons of my life. It truly has. And the reason why I run has changed through the seasons of my life. I like to say that now I run because I can. I run because I can, because I get to. And I now apply that phrase to a lot of things. Like, I don't have to work. I get to work. I don't have to work out. I get to work out. And I'll tell you, to that mindset, that'll change some stuff for you. That'll change some stuff for you. Try it. I promise it works really well on so many things. So the reasons that I run have changed so many times over 17 years. But I think you can see like why running means to me what it means to me, why it's such a deeply rooted, important thread of my being, of my soul. It's who I am. I am a runner. I am a runner as much as I am a woman. And that's just the truth. And running, for me, it's not about proving anything. Yes, I still like to set goals and, all these things. There's a fly in here. No. Oh, gotta love bugs in the summer. How'd a fly get in my house? I bet the hubby left the door open. How much you want to bet, ladies? How much you want to bet that the hubby left the door open? I digress. Like I said, running still challenges me and I still set the goals, but I don't have to prove anything running at any time. And it's more about just celebrating that I get to move. It's celebrating what my body can do. I get to celebrate my health. I get to celebrate that I'm showing up for myself every single time I run. And that's a big one. So whether I run fast that day, slow that day, it doesn't matter. It's okay because I showed up for myself. I'm celebrating my own body. And I've just learned that movement doesn't have to be perfect to be valuable. You just have to move. So for me, I would tell anybody, whatever you want to start, like consistency beats perfection. Just be consistent, show up. You don't have to do anything perfect or fast or whatever. And this applies to anything: self-care, healthy eating, strength training, your relationships, everything that you have a goal for or that you want to do better or whatever. Just be consistent and start showing up for yourself, and build that confidence and trust in yourself. It'll make a huge, huge difference. So now maybe you're thinking right now, you're listening or you're watching, you're thinking like, okay, Carla, I hate running. That's okay. To be perfectly honest, this episode is not just about running. It is about finding your thing. It can be walking, yoga, cycling. Heck, it can be gardening, dancing in your kitchen. The goal is not to become a runner. The goal is for you to find some kind of movement that you enjoy enough to keep doing. Go try all the different ones. See what you stick with, right? Kind of like they say, throw the spaghetti at the wall. See which noodle sticks, okay? Because that's what's going to create you lasting, improved health, right? So I challenge you to do that, to go find movement that brings you joy. That's what this is about. And that's what running is for me. It's movement that has brought me joy. It's movement, to be perfectly honest, and this is going to sound a little melodramatic here, it saved my life. From a pack-a-day smoker, 65 pounds overweight, to someone who runs and eats healthier and has goals and cares about herself. Say it how you want to say it, think how you want to think. Running changed and saved my life. Period. There's that fly again. I'm going to get that hubby. Anyway, again, this, it's about gratitude. It's about therapy. It's about confidence. It's about stress relief, personal growth. It's joy. Movement is joy. It's doing something good for your body. The vessels that we were given. We were given these vessels for a limited amount of time. And it is our duty, our obligation to take care of them. And they will take care of us in return. When you take care of your body, it rewards you, physically and mentally. So, FYI, every time you go to lace up your shoes, or put on your shoes, slide them on, however you do it, just be reminded that like healthy habits matter. Movement matters. Build a life that feels good to live. Just remember these things, okay? That's my story. That's my story. So, as always, guys, if you have questions, let me know. If I didn't cover something in here, let me know. But I really do hope that this inspired you in some way to move. Just to move and see what it does for you. See where it goes. And I honestly challenge you to sign up for something, some kind of event that you have to train for and show up for to complete it. It will change you. Okay? It will change you. So, thank you as always for spending this part of your day with me. I hope you enjoyed our little story time today. Let's get one last sip of our Java in. I love it. I love it. As always, all of my resources, links are in the show notes. If you're on the radio and you have no show notes, you can go to carlajoywellness.com. Everything is there for you. My blog is officially live. It's still in process, but there's lots of goodies there for you. There's some resources, there's some healthy recipes, some gardening stuff. Go check it out. Again, carlajoywellness.com. Everything's there. And if you could share this episode with a friend, inspire them to, get some movement in their life. Leave me a review if you have a couple minutes. It helps me reach even more people and hopefully inspire them as well and spread that joy. But that's all I have for you guys today. So until next time, keep finding your joy one sip at a time.